I am very honored to be able to share just a few moments to talk with you on this wonderful occasion, these next 4 days, where you go through speech tournaments, art competitions, where you go through talent shows, where you learn about careers, where you learn about education, you network, you learn about the resources. All of this compacted among a beautiful group of young, forward-thinking students who are deeply concerned not only about their individual selves, their intimate familia, but as demonstration from your presence here today, you have a profound interest and love for a beautiful cultural community called Latino, Chicano, Puerto Rican, Dominican, Cubano, whatever you call your respective heritage. I'm very honored to be here with you on this wonderful occasion. I want to speak to a few basic themes in the time that I have. And that is this profound and important theme called education in the 21st century. And I want to make it very clear that being the recipient of a college degree doesn't necessarily make you better than. Being the recipient of a formal education isn't the only way to be successful. Some of us can look in within the intimate notion and the intimate spaces of our family, and we can see parents, we can see uncles, we can see older brothers and siblings who perhaps didn't have college degrees, but who are still doing active work, who are still deeply committed to family, who are still deeply invested in a work community, who are still deeply invested in improving the lives of others. So education by way of a degree is not the only means to be of service, but there is a particular power in owning a college degree. For the process that one goes through, whether it's 4 years at a bachelor's, or an additional 2 years at a master's, or an additional 3 years at a PhD or a law degree, there is something that sort of becomes you. There is something that joins you. There's a particular type of experience or a worldview that becomes a part of your full essence that sort of becomes the manifestation of who you are in a future life. And I want to begin my short remarks with this particular notion. Beautiful participants in the Arizona Hispanic Symposium, you will one day be older than you are right now. Do you believe it? You see, we have this memory where we can go back and look at pictures and remember being 6 and 7, perhaps at a birthday party. But the things that we found to be of particular interest at 6 and 7 certainly aren't the things that we consider to be focal points or priority points at 14, 15, and 16. Do you understand that concept? None of you would be caught playing with dolls or Tonka trucks, at least in public, correct? So what you consider to be top priority at 5 and 6 is something that is irrelevant. It's almost inconceivable to be of even a moment of your thought in the freshman or a sophomore in high school. And so I want to also ask you to sort of project yourselves out about 7 years, or to project your mental mind out about 19 years, or 27 years, or 40 years. And I would like you to contemplate the notion that what you consider to be important and of focus today will not necessarily be of critical importance or really even a priority for you when you're 21, when you're 25, when you're 42, when you're 67, or when you live a long, prosperous life and you're in the 90s. You see, there is a real moment that's coming where one day you all will have the lofty status of being parents. Woo! What? And check this out, beautiful young people. Can you even conceive it? If you can one day produce a child, you and someone else, and then time goes by, and then all of a sudden your child has a child, by virtue of that birth, it makes you all grandparents. I'm looking out right now as you sit here at wonderful Arizona State University. I'm looking at a future mama. I'm looking at a future daddy. I'm looking at a Neo, a Theo, a papa, a granddad, an old man, old mom, whatever you call your particular self. And this is coming regardless of whether you believe it at your gut or at your core. And the follow-up to that is as you get older, your responsibilities and your issues and the decisions that you have to make and are held accountable for will be vastly different than the issues that you're contending with today. And so I want you to just marinate on this for a moment, because we are always in a constant process of preparation. And so programs such as these, the work that you do within your respective high schools, are preparation for a future that is yet unwritten but undeniably is coming. And that future will have you in a status of being a grown person with grown folk responsibilities and beautiful students opportunities. And so I want to couch it within the package of a college. When you come to a university and you achieve a college degree, if you look out and you ask most people, what is the purpose of a college degree? Almost unanimously they'll say to get a job, which is really code for more money, because beautiful students, even if you don't get a job, even if you don't have a college degree, you still have to get a job, right? So people narrowly define the college as a means of making more money, but the journey through college is profoundly more important than that. Because with the college degree, you enter into a small percentage of people who have the potential to make decisions that impact the mass amounts of living, breathing human beings. 28% of the individuals over the age of 25 will achieve a college degree. 28%. This 28% goes out and gets jobs where they make decisions that impact mass amounts of people. Consider this. Every class you've ever taken since kindergarten was taught to you by a person that had a college degree. What you learn in the classroom is developed at a curriculum level. Everybody that develops this curriculum, say it with me, has a what? Every law that's been passed in the last century is initiated at a legislative body. And 98% of the legislators have what? Say it with me.
College degree.
The college degree, whether we believe it or not, puts us in a position to have impact upon not only our lives, our families' lives, but quite possibly the 7 billion people that make up the human family. So beautiful students, I'd like to encourage you to be concerned about 3 things. The first one is, as you go through your process and you find yourself in a decision-making capacity, is that you won't be solely motivated by the opportunity to earn more money, but that somewhere in your formal learning process, you've picked up a few things along the way. And one of the focal points I'd like you to consider is to have an uncommitted, an unnegotiable, a non-negotiable commitment to the beautiful cultural communities that you come from. As you become a decision maker and you're making decisions about how decisions impact communities, how they impact politics, how they impact business, how they impact neighborhoods, how they impact poverty, how they impact health care, how they impact educational opportunities. I hope in your fabric, in your essence, you have a very high IQ about this ever-flowing, ever-changing, highly complex, historically rooted, continuously evolving, continuously being defined notion about what we call culture. See, because an examination of the past, an examination of culture helps you interpret and understand why certain things are the way that they are today. You understand this concept, beautiful folks? As you look out and you begin to study, and you look at various indexes, educational attainment, marriage rates, teenage pregnancy, healthcare challenges, incidence of AIDS, incidence of diabetes, incidence of heart disease, those types of things. When you look at them upon various indexes and you examine them upon racial lines, you're quickly going to notice this pattern where people of color, people who have a complex history within the wonderful United States, we find ourselves having various positions around these major indexes. In order to fight against that, in order to understand it, in order to put it into a cause and effect interpretation, understanding your cultural history will help you explain a contemporary time. So beautiful students have an unnegotiable, non-negotiable love for culture. And this moves me to my second point, is have a deep passion for people. And the highest way in which we express compassion is through the vehicle of service. You see, after you have a healthy sense of who you are, you quickly then begin to realize that the world is profoundly more than just me and where I come from. And you begin to realize that other people have wonderful stories. Other people have deep issues that they contend with. Other communities have the same types of things that they're negotiating on a day-to-day basis. And from this healthy commitment to people, you then have to develop empathy and to have concern about things beyond yourself. And when you do this, you become oriented in action. You become compassionately moved by the challenges of other people. And you take your privilege, you take your opportunity, and you take your education, and you use it as an instrument to be a positive change and something beyond yourselves. And the third piece that I'd like to close with is to not only realize that right now you're doing wonderful things, and I commend you for being here today and being selected among a very large applicant pool. But I want you to realize your future is certainly coming, and that there is but one guardian of the future you. And you have many different identities. But the one that's always thinking about the you that's to come, the one that's always mindful of wanting to ensure that everything you achieve for yourself, all the dreams that you have for yourself, all the highest ideals that you have for yourself, the one that's always thinking about that and watching over in some guardian capacity, is the individual you that is called student. Because student is the means of acquiring vast amounts of knowledge, not just for a test, not just for a grade, but that you can access this knowledge at some future time when the real questions are confronted to you and when you're dealing with real life's issues. Perhaps it's that beautiful future mother, or perhaps it's that beautiful future father, or perhaps it's that beautiful future grandparent who has then the control, the ownership, and the responsibility for the lives of others. Welcome to Arizona State University. So glad to share some remarks with you. Excuse me. Have a great 4-day period.